All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Bungie buffing the Void Overshield. It's been bugged. If you didn't know about this, they recently mentioned this in the TWAB, that it was actually providing 25% PvE only damage resistance with the Overshield, and it was supposed to be intended to be a 50% damage resistance. So with that change, more than doubling the damage resistance from that Void Overshield, we're talking about a potential God mode build here. I have it on right here. I have the dim link down below. Will it be God mode? Will it be absolutely insane? Only time will tell. I think it is. I think it's going to be a lot like currently the Assassin's Cal Arc Hunter build, except for Void. Now, obviously, when we're doing Grandmasters this season, we do have 5 out of 6 of them having Arc Burn, but one of them does have Void Burn, and it will definitely be interesting to see how strong this build will be in there after these changes go live, because with this buff to Overshield, this opens up a whole nother world of build crafting. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this, all the different exotics that could be really interesting with this. All right, you have obviously a lot of Titan oriented stuff because Titan is kind of the primary Overshield character. You have Saint 14, which is really interesting. No backup plans. You could use the Titan exotic glaive, where you could make those little mini bubbles, plus you could use Saint 14 with that. And then obviously Hunter does have Gerfalcon's Hauberk, which does give you a Void Overshield. So Void Hunters out there, look forward to that. You might be able to pull off some crazy builds with Gerfalcons with these Void Overshield changes. And obviously Worm God Crest is the one that we're going to talk about today, because this already does Omega DPS. And along with it doing insane damage with 1-2 punch shotgun and this Void build that we've already seen, you know, one-shotting bosses. This is how Morgith was soloed for the first time ever, was because of this crazy build right here. And again, the dim link's down below if you want to copy and paste it and be ready for these changes to go live on reset. But basically, I'm going to explain a little bit why this build is so strong. When these changes go live, you will be able to stack having 100 resilience, which gives you 40% damage resistance, with Well of Tenacity, which you'll see I'm utilizing here in this build, on top of the doubling of the PvE damage resistance from the Void Overshield. The Void Overshield is 45 HP for 8 seconds, okay? When you have that 45 HP, the Overshield itself, not a lot of people know this, but the Overshield itself is what gives you that damage resistance. You have to have that Overshield on, and so even though it is only 45 HP, because the damage resistance from that will be doubled, that's going to be a really, really strong Overshield, especially when paired with 100 resilience and Well of Tenacity. It might be nearly unbreakable in certain situations, of course. Now, obviously, when you're in like Grandmasters or a Master Raid, clearly those enemies are hurting you, all right? But you're going to have more health, more damage resistance than ever before with this Void build. And if you use all of the aspects and fragments, and of course Worm God Crest, you're using 1 melee Wellmaker, 1 heavy-handed, 1 elemental charge, 1 bountiful wells mod, and the last mod being a Well of Tenacity. Pair this with a high strength build and high resilience build, and you're going to have non-stop 1-2 punch shotgun melees over and over and over again. As you can see in this gameplay right here, I can basically indefinitely do these shield bashes, and obviously I could be pairing with the shotgun. I could use the 1-2 punch to make it even stronger. For the sake of this activity, I don't need to do that because the enemies aren't quite that strong. Not to mention, of course, you could just go with the tried and true Heart of Inmost Light builds, and you could do shield throws because that will make a lot of enemies volatile. And when you shoot enemies that are volatile, you will then proc the perk Repulsor Brace if you have that Void perk. For example, it comes on the Dungeon SMG that I have right here. I actually don't have Repulsor Brace on this roll of the SMG, but it can get that as a perk option and might make it really interesting. In fact, there's a whole bunch of weapons that get Repulsor Brace because Repulsor Brace was meant to be the incandescent and the volt shot of perks for weapons, but it's obviously been significantly weaker. But with these changes to Void Overshields, maybe Repulsor Brace will be meta. Maybe Repulsor Brace will be insane in PvE. We don't know. But if it is, 2 weapons to keep your eye on are definitely the Unforgiven SMG, as you can get from the dungeon right here. You can see this gameplay. And also the Doom of Chalchis can roll Explosive Payload and Repulsor Brace. So that's actually a really interesting weapon roll. But that's a wrap for this video now. Let me know your thoughts about Bungie buffing the Overshield for Void specifically. Do you think it's going to change the game drastically, or do you think it's going to be a very minor change? I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I've got my builds ready. Save this build down below with Dim, and comment down below any other builds or interesting ideas that you have with this 25% buff to the Overshield and PvE that Bungie is producing. This is going to be really interesting, I think. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.